Okay, welcome to our participants in our info session for Purdue University. I am Robin Morath. I am the Career and College Admissions Specialist at Maine South High School in Park Ridge and an IACAC member. We welcome you to this program. Just a few reminders for our participants. Your camera is off and you are muted, and you will not be able to turn any of those functions on. If you do have questions throughout the presentation, we ask that you use the Q&A button to type your questions to the presenters at any time. So just as a reminder, again, your camera and microphone are off so the panelists cannot hear you. So the Q&A is the way to ask your questions. If you have been to our other sessions, you already know how to register. If this is your first one, welcome. We hope that you explore the other opportunities throughout the 3 weeks of our virtual college exploration event. There will be a recording available in about a week. So if you log back onto the website where you registered, you'll be able to find the recordings for this and other sessions. Okay, so with that, I'm going to welcome our presenters from Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes, okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Susie Sabernick, and I am Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. So thank you so much for joining us this evening to learn a little bit more about Purdue. So as we go through the presentations, like she said, the Q&A is open. So if you have questions, we have 2 counselors that will be answering those. And then if we have time at the end of the presentation, we can address some of those questions as well. So to get started, Purdue is a large public research university. We are over 44,000 total students and over 33,000 undergraduates. We are the land-grant university for the state of Indiana, so the majority of our students do come from Indiana. However, we do have students from all 50 states as well as about 130 countries around the world. Purdue traditionally ranks in the top 5 in the number of international students. So if you do come to Purdue, you will get to meet students not only from around the United States, but from around the world as well. So to go through our application process, so for those of you who are seniors, this is what you need to be thinking about doing now. To apply to Purdue, you will use the Common Application. In the Common Application in the Purdue section, that is where you will apply directly to your major, and we'll talk a little bit more about our colleges in a few more slides. But you will apply directly to a college and then to a major within that college. That's also where you will apply to our honors college, and then we do have 2 Purdue-focused essay questions, a why Purdue and why major. Those are really short essays. It's about 100 words, but it gives you the opportunity to let us know what it is about Purdue that you are interested in, and then what it is about that major. You can self-report your grades in the Common Application, so you will need a copy of your high school transcript, and then you will be entering in the courses and grades from freshman, sophomore, and junior years. We also ask you to list your senior year schedule, so make sure you don't forget to do that. We need to see the entire senior year, both first and second semester, so make sure you enter that. With test scores, so for fall of 2021, we are test flexible. So with that, if you have taken the SAT or the ACT, we do encourage you to send those scores to us, or you can self-report them in the application. However, if you have not been able to sit for a test, you can still apply and we will still consider your application for admission. So that is test flexible. If you have taken the SAT or ACT and you do self-report, we don't use the writing score, so you don't need to self-report that. And we don't use the subject test. So if you did take the SAT 2, you don't need to send those scores to us because we don't use those. We require one essay from the common application, and then we have the application fee, or you are able to ask for a fee waiver. So we are divided into 11 different schools and colleges. We have over 200 majors on campus. In the application, you do have the option to apply to both a first choice and a second choice major. It's not required to apply to a second choice. However, if there is a second major that you would like to be considered for, if we are not able to admit you to that first choice, you can include that. So if we're not able to admit you to the first choice, then we would consider you for that second choice major. So these are the 11 different schools and colleges. So our College of Agriculture is really environmentally focused. So if you have an interest in natural resources, the environment, conservation, as well as things like farm management, it's a really great college to consider. It's a very science-focused college. With our College of Education, we do have several different teaching degrees available from pre-K all the way up through secondary education. College of Engineering is our largest college on campus. For students who are interested in engineering, you will apply directly to the College of Engineering, but your choice of major is going to be first year engineering. So all the engineering students go through a common curriculum that first year, and then you'll go into your major your sophomore year. The Exploratory Studies program is for undecided students. So if you're just not sure what you would like to study, or if you have interests in several areas, it's a great place to start. You can take courses in different areas and work with your advisor to really help you figure out where your interests are. The College of Health and Human Sciences are going to be more health-focused majors. So if you're looking at going into a pre-professional track, we have nursing, which is a direct admit program. Kinesiology, psychology, several business majors are also located in HHS. Our College of Liberal Arts are the general liberal arts degrees. The Krannert School of Management is our main business school on campus, and Krannert is a very analytical focused program. Through the College of Pharmacy, we offer both a pharmaceutical sciences degree as well as the PharmD program to become a pharmacist. And the Polytech Institute are the technology-focused majors. So you can really think of those as the applied side of engineering as well as computer science. The College of Science are the traditional science majors. And the computer science major at Purdue is in the College of Science. So if you're thinking about computer science, the software development, programming, coding side of things, you will apply directly to computer science in the College of Science. And then we do have the vet school as well as a vet nursing degree. So evaluating the application. First thing we look at are minimum high school expectations. So we're going to your transcript and we're going to be counting semesters to make sure you are meeting these. This is why we need to see that senior year schedule. So we need to see at least 8 semesters of English, 8 semesters of math, 6 of lab science, 6 of social studies, and then 4 of a foreign language. So keep in mind those are minimums. So if you can take more than that, we would encourage you to do that. With grades, we are looking at those individual grades. So it's not just looking at your GPA, but we are going back freshman, sophomore, junior year. We're looking at the course you took, the grade that you received in that course. We're also looking at the rigor of the curriculum. So do we see honors, AP, IB, dual credit courses? And again, we're looking at that senior year schedule. We want to see a good, strong senior year. Not just bare minimums to meet graduation requirements. We're also looking at academic trends. So if things didn't start off so strong freshman year, but grades have gone up, that's good. If grades maybe took a downward trend, take advantage of that additional information section where you can let us know what happened. It's helpful when we're reviewing applications just to have as much information as possible. And then again, your test scores, being test flexible this year. Again, if you have scores, we encourage you to send them. If you haven't taken the test, then you can still be considered for admission. Include your extracurricular activities, so things that you're involved in school as well as outside of school, so things in the community, volunteer work. If you have a part-time job, those are all great things to let us know about. The essay is important, so make sure you do a nice job on that essay. And then we come to the Purdue major in college, and that can really go with the time of year you apply. So because we are admitting directly to majors, we only have so many seats per program, so the later we are in the year, the tighter space can become. We don't require letters of recommendation, so your application is considered complete without those. However, you are welcome to have letters sent, and those can come from anyone, so it can be someone in school as well as outside of school. 1 to 2 letters are what we recommend. And so our deadlines, again, the application goes live on August 1st. October 1st is when the FAFSA form for financial aid will become available. November 1st is an important deadline for us. So that is the early action deadline. It is also the deadline to be considered for merit scholarships as well as the honors college. It is also the priority application deadline for computer science, professional flight, and nursing. Students who are complete by November 1st will have their decision released on January 15th. So we will not release any decisions prior to January 15th. January 15th is also the regular decision deadline. So students who are complete by that date will have a decision by the end of March. March 1st is the priority deadline to submit the FAFSA form. And then once you are admitted to Purdue, that offer of admission is held until May 1st. So you will have until that date to accept your offer if you do decide to come to Purdue. And then May 5th is the deadline to submit our housing contract as well as the application for learning communities. We are going on 9 years of a tuition freeze, and so this is the cost through the current school year. That tuition freeze has been a really high priority of our president as well as the Board of Trustees to keep those costs as even as possible for families. And for financial aid, so if you go on the financial aid website, they have a really useful estimator. So if you use this estimator, you can plug in your financial numbers, and that's going to come back with a really good estimate of the type of aid you could expect to receive if you do submit the FAFSA form. Again, March 1st is the deadline to be considered for merit scholarships. There's nothing additional that you need to do to be considered for these, and they are reviewed holistically. So it's not just a GPA or test score. Certainly we look at academics, but we are looking at all aspects of your application. So the essay, the extracurriculars, all of those things will be taken into consideration. These scholarships are competitive, so typically about 10% of our incoming students will receive one. If you are applying to our College of Education, Health and Human Sciences, the Krannert School of Management, or Polytech, you will have access to a supplemental scholarship form. If so, that needs to be submitted by December 15th, and you would also need to submit the FAFSA form by December 15th for consideration for these scholarships. They're very specific to those schools. There is a need component to them, but again, if you do apply to one of those schools, you can submit that supplemental form. And then again, March 1st is when you should have the overall FAFSA form submitted. And then the financial aid office will send out their notification typically around late February or early March. So you'll have that financial aid package well prior to that May 1st deadline to help with the decision. So Purdue, like I mentioned before, we are a Research One university. So if you do have that interest in doing undergraduate research, we typically have about 2,000 different programs that are available. So there's a website you can visit, and also talking with your professors is a really great way to get involved in undergraduate research. About half of our undergraduate students will graduate with at least one research project, and those can happen potentially as early as freshman year, depending upon the research programs that are available. The Honors College at Purdue is an application process. So if you are interested in participating in that, you will apply through the Common Application. So answer yes to that question, and then that's going to prompt 2 additional essay questions. And again, your application needs to be in by November 1st for consideration. If you are admitted to the Honors College, those notifications will come out around mid-February. So don't look for that Honors College decision on January 15th. It typically comes after that date. If you are admitted to the Honors College, you'll be taking 24 honors credit hours throughout your 4 years. Those aren't in addition to the plan of study. Those are part of your plan of study. And those honors college courses are interdisciplinary, so it really gives you the opportunity to be in classes that you wouldn't normally be with those students because they're not in your major or in your college. There are also research opportunities as well as study abroad opportunities and leadership components built into the honors college. And then we also have the honors college residence hall, so coming in as a freshman, you would most likely be assigned to live in that honors college hall. We also offer a certificate in entrepreneurship. So if you have an interest in this area, you can work with your academic advisor to build these courses into your plan of study. You can earn this certificate from any major. You don't have to be in a business-focused major to do so. It's 15 credit hours, so again, it's pretty easy to work into any plan of study. If you are interested in entrepreneurship, then we have the Burton D. Morgan Center for Entrepreneurship, which is in our Discovery Park area. We also have a student-run space called the Anvil, and there's another co-working space in downtown Lafayette, so you can definitely get together with other entrepreneurial-minded students. We also have a really great maker space on campus called the Bechtel Innovation Design Center. So if you have an idea of something that you want to build on your own, you can go to Bechtel and work on your project there. Cornerstone is a certificate program that you can earn through our College of Liberal Arts. So this will allow students who are in a college outside of liberal arts to graduate with a bit of a liberal arts background. So there are 5 different areas that students can concentrate in through Cornerstone. And then Degree Plus allows students to do a double major with the College of Liberal Arts. So if you're majoring in, say, biology, but you want to do a double major with communication, you can do that through Degree Plus and still be on track to graduate in 4 years. And the Academic Success Center is a really great resource available for our students. So through the Academic Success Center, you can get help in study skills and tutoring. We also have a great program called Supplemental Instruction, which is geared towards some introductory freshman classes, which is more of a group tutoring session. Supplemental Instruction is a free service, so it's a great thing for students to take advantage of to get that good foundation in those math and science courses. Purdue OWL is the online writing lab. Some of you may be using OWL right now. OWL was started by Purdue's English department, so for Purdue students, if you would prefer to get that help from someone in person, you can visit the OWL office. And then academic innovation. So one thing that Purdue started years ago is a program called Hot Seat. So and the third picture, that was taken in one of our largest lecture halls on campus. So if you're in a large lecture hall and you have a question and you don't want to raise your hand, you can type your question through Hot Seat and then the questions will appear up on the screen. So it's a really great way for students to participate in those large lecture classes, and the professor can easily answer those questions while everyone is still there in the lecture hall. Disability Resource Center is available to all Purdue students. If you need their services coming in, you can start working with them the summer before you come to campus. If you need services, then while you're here as a Purdue student, you can always reach out. Our student health center on campus is called PUSH. So if you're not feeling well, need to see a doctor, PUSH is right in the heart of the academic campus, so it's really easy for students to get to. Because we do have that PharmD program, we have a working pharmacy, which is right next door to PUSH. So if you need to get prescriptions filled, you can go to the pharmacy building and get that taken care of. We also have counseling services, which is available through our Dean of Students office. And then our Center for Career Opportunity. This is the office that is going to work with students to help you with internships as well as full-time job placement. Last year, we had 39 career fairs that took place on campus, and we had over 1,700 different companies that came to Purdue to recruit. So going to those career fairs are a great way for you to start getting familiar with companies, do some practice interviews. So when you are ready to do an internship, you kind of know the ropes on how those career fairs work. Through the CCO office, you can do mock interviews, you can do company research. They have peer counselors as well as professional counselors that you can work with. And then we also have a co-op program. Co-op is done through an office called the Office of Professional Practice, and we have both 3-semester as well as 5-semester co-op programs that are available. And location-wise, so we are about an hour north of Indianapolis, and we are about 2 hours south of downtown Chicago. So it's an easy drive to either of those cities. And then Lafayette and West Lafayette, between the two communities, we are about 100,000 residents. So downtown Lafayette is in the lower part of the picture. The Wabash River separates the two towns. So once you cross the river and come up the hill, you are on campus. So the top part of that picture is a good portion of Purdue's campus. West Lafayette is definitely a college town. It's very residential with about 30,000 students. And then this is an overview of the campus. So even though we are big, the campus is very walkable. So you can really get from one end to the other in about 20 to 25 minutes walking. Students also have free use of the Lafayette City bus system, which will make loops around campus as well as go all around Lafayette and West Lafayette. So it's very easy for you to get around. And then living on campus, so this is Windsor Hall, which is one of our all-female residence halls on campus. And so I always like to share a little fun fact about Windsor. Amelia Earhart spent a few years at Purdue as a women's career consultant, and while she was here, she lived in Windsor. So regarding housing, we don't require any of our students to live on campus. Normally, we're around 95% of freshmen who will choose to, and then about 45% of our undergraduates do live on campus. So as a freshman, if you want to live on campus, once you have accepted your offer of admission, then that's when the housing contract will become available. On the contract, you'll be able to rank the type of residence hall that you would prefer, and then there's also roommate matching information. And again, as long as that contract is in by May 5th, then that will guarantee housing with Purdue. And then housing will send out their assignments usually around the middle of July. So you'll know which hall you've been assigned to and who your roommate is. We have 17 different residence hall options. We opened 2 new halls this year. And certainly if you would like to live on campus after freshman year, you can do that. You can live on campus all 4 years if you would like. If you want to move off campus, there are a lot of apartments surrounding campus, and we also have a Greek system. Learning communities are something you can participate in as a freshman. If you join a learning community, they are typically based on the major that you're in, and you will take several classes with that group of students. And then many of the learning communities also have a residential component, so then you would all be living in the same residence hall together. So those are a nice way for you to get to know those students well. You're in class together, you can ask questions, study together, do social activities, but it's a group of students that you'll get to know right from the first day of class. You do need to apply to a learning community, and that application is due May 5th, the same day as the housing contract. And then our dining options. So we have 5 dining courts. We also have different restaurants throughout campus as well. So depending upon the meal plan you choose, you'll have a certain amount of meal swipes that you use per week. So each time you go into the dining court, that will count as a swipe, or the restaurants are now also taking meal swipes as well. You'll also receive an amount of dining dollars, which you can also use at restaurants around campus. Several of the dining courts also have on the go, which is a takeout. So if you don't want to go in and sit down and eat, you can go to on the go and take your food out with you. And you can, of course, have a microwave and small refrigerator in your room as well. So a lot of great dining options that are available. And being at a big school, you have a lot of things that you can get involved in outside of class. So this is one of the great Purdue traditions, Purdue Grand Prix, which is our annual go-kart race. It's been going on since the late 1950s, so students get teams together and build the karts, and then we have that race every April. We have the permanent Grand Prix track, which is on the north part of campus. We do have 5 cultural centers on campus: the Asian American, LGBTQ, Latino, Black, and Native American centers. Each center has their own building or space on campus where students can get together, have meetings, get together socially, study. The cultural centers have different performing groups that will do events around campus or in the community. They'll bring speakers to campus. So a lot of different things take place through the different cultural centers. As a student, you can get involved in any of the centers in which you might have an interest. About 1,000 clubs and organizations. If any of you are musically inclined, whether you play an instrument or sing, you can certainly keep that going here. Through Purdue Bands and Orchestras, we have the All-American Marching Band and about 16 auxiliary bands. And then Purdue Musical Organization, we have 5 performing choirs. The picture there on the right is the Boilermaker Special, which is the official mascot of Purdue. We have a student organization called the Reamer Club. They are the official caretakers of the Boilermaker Special. So they bring it out pretty frequently on campus. I heard it out today. Usually you'll hear the whistle as it's making its way through campus. They also drive it to away football games, and you can ride on the back of the special. Then we have a smaller version of it called the Extra Special, so that can just get into smaller spaces on campus. And then our Recreational Sports Center, or COREC, really nice facility right in the heart of the residential part of campus. So if you enjoy working out or playing sports, you definitely will take advantage of that space. Again, lots of space for group classes, cardio, 2 swimming pools, rock climbing wall. So a lot of good things to keep you active. Then we have about 50 club and intramural sports. So if you currently play a sport, or if you want to learn a new one, you can get involved through either the club or intramural. Club sports are a little bit more of a time commitment, where you'll have scheduled practices and travel to other universities to compete, where intramural is much more informal. And then, of course, we're in the Big Ten, 18 men's and women's varsity sports. And so for students, if you want to attend sporting events, you can purchase a season pass called the boarding pass, which will get you into all the athletic events on campus. And so this will conclude our presentation. So just some great pictures of Purdue's campus and our contact information. So if you have questions in the future, you can reach out to our Office of Admissions via email or phone. We are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 Eastern Time to take phone calls. If you are not on our mailing list yet, I definitely encourage you to visit our website so you can sign up to join the mailing list so we can start sending you more information. And we also have quite a few different virtual events available right now. So if you visit that website, you can see events that are offered through the Office of Admissions, along with events that are offered through our different schools and colleges. So sitting in on those events from the schools and colleges are a great way that you can learn more specifics about the major, whether it's through a presentation they may have, connecting you with a current student, or a one-on-one meeting. So now I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Hey, Susie. We've had a couple questions about test flexible. So if you can talk again a little bit about the ACT and SAT.
Sure. So with Test Flexible, if you have taken the SAT or ACT, we strongly encourage you to either self-report those scores in the application, or you can have them sent to us directly from the testing center. However, we totally understand with all of the cancellations that have taken place, if you have not been able to take a test, if you've signed up for a test this fall and it's canceled, you can still submit your application and we will still consider you fully for admission.
There's also questions about scholarships and that process.
Yes, so for merit scholarships, again, just having your application complete by November 1st will put you in consideration for merit-based scholarships. If you're not able to submit a test score by November 1st, you will still be in consideration for merit scholarships. It's a holistic review, so submitting a good, thorough application is the best thing you can do to put your best foot forward to be considered for those merit scholarships. And the award notification for those will come out on January 15th. So when we release admission decisions, if you have received one of the merit scholarships, they're called the trustees or presidential, then you will receive notification on that date. Any other additional scholarships, you would want to visit our financial aid website. So whether it would be the supplemental scholarships for those 4 colleges that I mentioned, there's also a link on the financial aid website called Scholarship Universe. And so that's a great place where you can start researching other scholarships that you might qualify for.
Thanks. I didn't see any other ones unless Taylor caught something that missed my eye.
Susie, will you explain some of the more competitive programs and how we encourage students to definitely apply for the November 1st deadline, please?
Yes, so the priority deadline of November 1st, we mention it for computer science, professional flight, and nursing. I would really encourage that for engineering as well, because engineering is also one of our most competitive programs. Again, remember computer science is in our College of Science, so it is not part of the College of Engineering. That's gotten very popular and very competitive in the last several years. Our nursing program is a direct admit, so if you are interested in nursing, if you are admitted coming in as a freshman, then you will be in that nursing program as a freshman. So that makes that program very competitive. And then our professional flight program is for students who want to learn how to fly and become a pilot. It's a fairly small program, but it is very popular as well. So being interested in those 4 majors especially, we encourage you to be complete by November 1st. 1st. If you want to apply to the Honors College, again, you need to be complete by November 1st. So the other majors, I would really encourage you to visit the admissions website where you can see all of the majors, and when you click on that major, it will give you a description as well as a link to the plan of study, so you can see the curriculum and see what types of courses that you would be taking. So that's a really good place where you can do research. So if you're maybe a sophomore or junior, to start learning about different majors, and for seniors to make sure that the major you are applying to is the major that you truly are interested in.
One other question is about switching majors once you're at Purdue and that process.
Yes, so many students do switch majors. So if you decide to change, it's not uncommon to do that. So at Purdue, we have a process called CODO. It's C-O-D-O. And if you want to switch your major, you will go through this CODO process. You'll work with your academic advisor. So all students do have an academic advisor in your major. So that advisor is really your resource to help you with your plan of study, but they will also help you change your major with that CODO process. So with CODOing, you typically need to meet a minimum GPA requirement. There are usually certain courses that you will have needed to complete, as well as some other steps you need to follow. And so once you've met those requirements, and if there is space available in the program, then you would switch over to that new major. Again, those 4 competitive areas, engineering, computer science, nursing, and flight, can be more difficult to CODO into. So even though you may meet the CODO requirements, it will really depend on space availability. So there's no guarantee that you would be able to switch. Just from meeting the requirements, there would also need to be space available in the program. So some semesters, they can take everyone. Other semesters, they may not. It will just depend on how many students want to CODO. Typically, CODOing within the same college is a little bit easier process than CODOing from one college to another, but you certainly can do that as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Susie. What is your favorite Purdue tradition?
My favorite Purdue tradition, I have lots of favorite traditions. I think writing the Boilermaker Special is one of them. Fountain runs are a big Purdue tradition, probably not my favorite, but it's a fun thing to do. Usually students will do that during Boiler Gold Rush, which is our freshman orientation program. It's usually pretty hot, so that's a great way for students to cool off. Going to football games and basketball games are a lot of fun. The atmosphere on campus for football games is just with all the people and the band, and it's just a lot of excitement in the air. So that's really fun. And then being an alum myself, I really appreciated Purdue once I graduated. So there's just a lot of school spirit, a lot of school pride. So no matter where I travel to, if I have a Purdue shirt on, I will usually hear a boiler up and get to meet fellow alumni that way. So having that after graduation is a really cool experience as well.
This is another question I get a lot is, can you add in test scores later if you don't have it before November 1st?
So once you submit your application to Purdue, you can either self-report your scores, so you will have access to your Purdue application portal, and in that portal there is a link where you can upload new test scores, or you can have scores sent directly from either College Board or ACT, so you can do that at any time.
I think that's pretty much it, unless we see any last minute questions come in. One question, can I add a minor? How hard is it to add a minor or double major for that fact?
Yes, and so again, that's where you will work with your academic advisor. So before classes start in August, students will come to campus for a one-day program that we call STAR, which is our summer registration. And so at that STAR date, that's when you'll have that initial meeting with your academic advisor. So that's the time if you have an interest in maybe doing a double major, or if you want to minor in something, the earlier you get those conversations going with your advisor, then the more time you have to build that into your plan of study. Minoring is typically a little easier than doing a double major, but again, with a double major, it can depend on what you want to do. If it's double majoring in the same college, that would be a little bit easier than doing a double major between colleges. If you do that, there's the potential it could take longer than 4 years to graduate. But you do have the option of taking courses during the summer, so that could help keep you on a 4-year track. Purdue does offer a lot of minors. You can go on our website and we have a list of all of the minors that are available to students. But again, that's where utilizing your advisor to really help make sure that you're following that plan of study, to make sure that you can do what you want to do and still graduate in a timely manner.
Susie, will you also explain some of the opportunities students have for the 3+2 or 4+1 programs available at Purdue?
So I know many of the engineering majors do offer a 4+1 option, so that will give you the opportunity to earn both your bachelor's and master's degree in 5 years. I know our public health degree in the College of Health and Human Sciences also offers a 4+1. To earn that master's degree. So there are different options like that. So rather than taking 4 years for your bachelor's degree and then another 2 years for your master's degree, you can get that done in 5 years. It's going to be a little intense to do that, but students certainly do and are able to take advantage of that. Again, if that's something that you are interested in doing, the earlier you start talking to your advisor to get on that track to take advantage of that, then the easier that process would be.
And I don't see any more questions from anybody at this time.
Okay.
Okay, well, I hope this was as informative as it was for me. We thank our participants for joining us. I am going to just ask for a little bit less housekeeping here at the end. Once I close and end the webinar, there will be a quick survey that will pop up. It's just 4 questions. We ask that you take that so we can enhance our programming in the future. We encourage you to sign up for more sessions, again, at IACAC.org. As you found the registration for this session, you will find many others for multiple weeks, because we go through almost the end of October with this wonderful event. And again, the recording will be available in about a week's time, so you can check back for that as well. Thank you so much, ladies from Purdue, for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. And I am going to now end the webinar. Thank you and take care. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.